Hello everyone, my name is Deacon Matthew Duclos, and I'm very grateful for the invitation to come and speak to you today at the St. Edward's Knights of Columbus Social Night. Obviously it would be much better to be with you in person, but this digital format has its benefits as well. I was asked to speak about my experience in Rome. For the last 4 years I've been living here at the Pontifical North American College attending seminary. We're located just outside Vatican City. As you can see just behind me, we have St. Peter's Basilica. That topic is pretty broad. There's a lot that goes into being a seminarian here in Rome. So what I thought I'd do is take you through a typical day and explain some of the experiences that I've had here over the past 4 years. Before we get started though, I wanted to share one quick picture with you. This is my first communion at St. Edward's on April 18th, 1998. 7-year-old Matt. St. Edward's has played a very important part in my own faith journey and that of my family's, and since then so many things have happened. I'm now a third-degree knight. I was ordained a deacon at home last fall, and the priesthood ordination is scheduled for this summer, June 19th. So again, I'm very grateful to be here with all of you. And let's get started. I currently live here at the Pontifical North American College on Via del Gianicolo, about a 10-minute walk from St. Peter's Square, which we'll see a little bit later on in the video. This is my 4th year living here in this building. A typical day here begins at 6:15 a.m. in the chapel, all together with morning prayer and Mass. That's followed by breakfast, and then much of the day is left for classes. Here's the beginning of my walk to school. It takes about a half hour to walk to class. I'll be putting parts of it on fast forward and stopping to see some sights along the way. So a little bit about the seminary itself. The North American College was founded by Pope Pius IX in 1859 for the purpose of educating American seminarians in Rome. The original seminary building is over by the Trevi Fountain, and the current seminary building that I live in was built in 1953. Right now, there are 159 seminarians here from 67 dioceses across the country. The original seminary building, called the Casa Santa Maria, now houses priests who come back to Rome for an additional degree, say in canon law, history, liturgy, the sacraments, or scripture. One question people sometimes have is, do all priests have to go to Rome to study? And the answer is no. The Diocese of Albany, for example, uses seminaries throughout the United States, in Chicago, Boston, New York, and Baltimore. I'm over here with another Albany seminarian, Deacon Stephen Yusko from Hudson. Each seminary has its own flavor and unique experiences. The formation of priests in seminary can be split into what's called 4 pillars, so to speak: spiritual, academic, human, and pastoral. So I'd like to go into a little bit about each of the 4 pillars. The call to the priesthood is ultimately a vocation, a call from God to this particular path in life. The spiritual aspect of priesthood is obviously so important to being in the seminary. There is a daily emphasis on prayer, with morning prayer and evening prayer prayed together in the chapel. We have Mass every day, and we have regular meetings with our spiritual directors. Without a strong relationship with God, without a regular prayer life and trust in God, really this whole vocation falls apart. Attending seminary in Rome and walking to school just means being surrounded by Catholicism. There's a church basically around every corner, and it's very common to see priests and sisters walking around in the city. There are images of the Blessed Mother on various street corners, and obviously with the Pope being here, much attention is focused on him and his meetings and appearances and statements. One of the unique events here is called the Urbi et Orbi address. That means the address the Pope makes to Rome, the city, and to the world. This happens every Easter Sunday and every Christmas Day. The Pope makes this address in St. Peter's Square, and really the whole world is listening. The academic pillar of formation is also very important during this time. Daily life during the semester looks much like a typical university setting, with classes each day, seminars, discussions, and final exams. All priests spend many years in academic formation, beginning with what's called pre-theology, where philosophy is studied, and then continuing into major seminary and theological studies. I completed my philosophical studies from 2016 to 2017 at St. John's University in Queens, while attending the Cathedral Seminary House of Formation in Douglaston, New York. After that, I came to Rome and began my theological studies in 2017 at the Gregorian University, and we'll see that building in a little while later in the tour. This degree I earned there is called the STB, which stands for Bachelor's in Sacred Theology. Seminarians in the U.S. might get a degree with a slightly different name, but it still includes all the same topics. This degree takes 3 years to earn, so I completed it this past spring. And here are some of the titles of my classes. Christology, the study of Christ. Pentateuch, the study of the first 5 books of the Old Testament. We have multiple semesters of church history. We have languages, Greek, Hebrew, and Latin. We have many scripture classes, including the Synoptic Gospels of Matthew, Mark, and Luke, the Gospel of John, the books of Paul, the prophets, Psalms and wisdom literature. We have classes in canon law, the sacraments, ecclesiology, which is the study of the church, patrology, the study of the church fathers, moral theology, liturgy, pastoral theology, anthropology, bioethics, spiritual theology, interreligious dialogue, eschatology, the study of the end times, the theology of grace, and Mariology, which is the study of Mary. After that, we move into the 4th year of major seminary, which is the year when you're ordained a deacon and still attend classes. Some seminarians go on to earn the next level of degree called the STL, a licentiate in sacred theology. This is the opportunity to study one particular topic in more depth, for example, liturgy or the sacraments or canon law. And having a license in a particular area gives you the credentials to be able to teach at a seminary or university. Right now I'm doing about half of that program called a diploma in dogmatic and fundamental theology. It's a 1-year-long program, so I'm finishing this spring. And following the completion of this diploma, this semester I'll begin yet another program in the fall, which is a license in what's called safeguarding. It has to do with the sexual abuse crisis in the church and how to heal from that and proceed and prevent those occurrences in the future. So this is a 2-year degree, so I have a couple more years of study ahead of me, but it's very much important work and I'm looking forward to it. I realize that's all a bit tedious of an explanation, but I think it's important for people to know about. By now we're just arriving to the Angelicum University where I attend school this year. It's run by the Dominican order and the majority of the classes are in English. There are students from all over the world who attend. There are seminarians on the way to the priesthood. There are many priests as students. There are religious sisters and brothers. And there are certainly many lay students studying here as well. The 3rd pillar is called human formation. And this is all about developing good and healthy relationships with people, both seminarians and non-seminarians and priests, growing in skills to work with parishioners and parish staff members, and how to live a healthy and balanced life. This is all about us growing as individuals, and each person has different strengths and weaknesses in this particular area. Simply by attending seminary across the ocean, it was necessary for me to become more independent because I didn't have my immediate family close by or a familiar parish to attend. It's all about figuring out how to balance a good prayer life with the academic side of things with all the other activities and weekend events. I'm really grateful to live on a great hall of seminarians. We nickname our hall 4th NASA because we're on the 4th floor. They're from dioceses all across the country, and together we rely on each other to grow and improve. The fourth pillar, and the last pillar, is basically where the rubber hits the road. The pastoral aspect of formation is all about applying these different sorts of knowledge and skills from the other three pillars into parish ministry. All areas kind of combine. Think of a good homily. There are spiritual aspects. It might teach you something, and it applies to daily life and things that are happening in the world. Here at the seminary, we have different opportunities to implement these skills called apostolates. My apostolate in Queens was called the Midnight Run, where we would go into Manhattan once a month and distribute clothing and food to the homeless. In Rome, my apostolate was giving tours of St. Peter's Basilica. And here's a picture of one of my tour groups. Another one of my apostolates over here was working with the students from St. John's University who are studying abroad here in Rome for the semester. The day usually ends with evening prayer all together in the chapel at 6:45, followed by dinner at 7 o'clock. Some things occur after dinner, a couple classes, there are choir rehearsals, some conferences, and on our hall it's a custom to get together each Wednesday night and watch a couple episodes of The Office. There are a couple more things that are unique to my experience here in Rome. In normal, non-pandemic times, we have the opportunity to travel. It's rightly named a travel weekend when our usual schedule here at the seminary is canceled Friday through Sunday, and we have the weekend to travel. Plane tickets between European countries are quite reasonable, and many of us make our way around the continent and experience the different cultures, see the churches, and eat the food. And I've been very fortunate enough to make my way around to quite a few countries. There's Italy and many places there, Austria, Denmark, Egypt, England, France, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Israel, Malta, the Netherlands, Norway, Poland, Portugal, Slovakia, and Spain. And of course, sometimes I act like the typical tourist and take pictures of my food. So of course we have great pastas, fantastic pizzas, and who can forget about all the desserts? One last opportunity I'll mention is the unique one we have here to serve for the Masses at St. Peter's Basilica. I was able to serve for the Christmas Eve Mass with Pope Francis in 2017, my first year here. And before Mass began, he vested in the Chapel of the Pietà, the famous sculpture by Michelangelo. And he took the time to meet each of us before the procession down the main aisle. There was another time to meet Pope Francis as well in 2019. Every 5 years, sometimes it's a bit longer in some cases, the Pope meets with each region of bishops from all over the world. They cycle through Rome, and each region has the opportunity to address the Pope about the needs and concerns and strengths of their various areas. The bishops of the United States came from 2019 to 2020, and the New York bishops arrived in the fall of 2019. We were able to go with Bishop Scharfenberger when the Pope received the New York region of bishops. And I can't let the video end without mentioning how Rome is such a tourist destination and there have been so many guests here as visitors. My parents have been over here to visit a few times, and my whole family was able to get together when two of my sisters were studying abroad in Copenhagen. So here are a couple of those pictures as well. So I hope you've enjoyed taking a look at some of the parts of my day, some of the experiences I've had here in Rome and in Europe over the past 4 years. Looking back, it's obvious how God has been active throughout my life. In my upbringing with my family at parishes like St. Edward's, St. Mary's Crescent, and Corpus Christi, through my time as a music major and a music teacher, and through my work experience at Corpus Christi, and certainly during my time here in seminary. Being a seminarian here in Rome has incredible blessings. There have been incredible opportunities that I never would have really dreamed of. However, it comes with many, many challenges as well. Being away from family and friends and parishioners, life events for the past 4 years. So I've always said that I don't feel that I'm alone over here. It takes the support of the diocese, and I feel that support through people like you, through your prayers, through keeping in touch while being over here. I really do appreciate that. And I'm very grateful for opportunities like this to connect with all of you back home. So again, thank you very much for this invitation. I'm very much looking forward to coming home and being ordained a priest in June, and hope to see many of you soon. God bless all of you.